This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane. Enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.
Hey, I forgot to mention this, so I'm adding this now as an insert. But this is the closest that Krypton Report will ever probably get to a mature warning. Just because we are discussing some things about the first episode of Peacemaker, Season 2, where we're kind of discussing some ins and outs of adult content that was in it, and our thoughts on that. The language, there's no language, but it's just the words that reflect that content. But I just want to throw that out at the beginning of the episode.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, your host, the man who's not afraid to cry or do his face exercises. And with me is my co-host James, who doesn't dye his beard, Cole.
I do not.
We are
got the natural streaks of brown and in the gray. Now it's more brown streaks in the gray, less gray streaks in the brown.
Like I'm growing this, before. I'm growing this goatee right here, and I feel like I'm the opposite of you. It's like where you got the brown, I have the gray.
Yeah.
That's
I got the gray. I got the whole gray mustache. You got the whole brown mustache.
Exactly. We got the opposite. But we are bringing you today, previously on the DCU, we are talking Peacemaker, and the reason why we chose to just kind of go over, usually like on shows that aren't that connected, like DC shows, we'll pop in and out, talk about them or whatever. But the reason why we decided to go ahead, it's early for me, and discuss Peacemaker, the season 2, episode 1, was because it is the follow-up to the DCU, and we're going to just talk about what it sets up, what it does. And I have been listening to James Gunn has been doing his watch podcast, which I guess now, like, they're doing it a watch along for season 2, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I will later as I kind of cut the grass today.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to have to go through that thing then. I wanted to, but I also wanted to watch the episodes of season 1 and then listen to it, but I haven't had a chance to rewatch any. So,
oh man, I rewatched season 1,
3.5 episodes.
I rewatched season 1, and I was going to try to rewatch all of Creature Commandos, but I just rewatched what do you call it? Just the last episode of Creature Commandos to kind of see where it ties in. Last time I've been working on a special edit. I'm working on 2 special edits, what I call the DC Universe edit of Peacemaker season 1, because as we find out, just like we had kind of talked and every
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a timestamp and we'll
Okay.
continue, from what there. Okay, hold on. Go 6:42. So previously on the DCU, James Cole was amazing, and he still is. But
Oh, well, thank you.
well, trying to
I
figure
tried.
out, we had some technical difficulty. Um,
Had to try to figure out where we left off.
so we were talking about the James Gunn podcast, and at the end of every episode, he talks about what's canon and not, and most of it is, like, I don't think that's canon. It could be. Like, we know that Aquaman's not a big deal superhero. That's not canon. All the other stuff that Peacemaker says about, heroes and stuff, it's not canon. It's just Peacemaker running his mouth. You know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I think that's what we said. And I mean, back then was like, I feel like it's just him running his mouth.
yeah, it's
You
just,
know?
it's like, we can't trust this guy. He's just trying to, it's like, they've said, I don't know if Peacemaker's the kind of person who'll hear stuff like online, like, oh yeah, that's so true, like,
Right.
so it's just Christopher Smith running his mouth and saying things. He just does what he can. And what we learn is, as you and I have suspected, and we've said this all along because we watch these things, we pay attention, and James Gunn says stuff, then he kind of pulls back. The Suicide Squad really is the first entry into the DCU. And then it's Peacemaker season 1 with the change that they retconned. And people are like, oh, so the first season's in the DCEU, and then the second season's in the DC, and now the first season's also in the DC. I'm like, look, it's just make it simple. Okay. The Suicide Squad, DC Universe, DCU.
Yeah.
Okay. Peacemaker season 1, DCU, with the new change. Okay. The new change is at the end now. Instead of seeing the Justice League show up, it's the Justice Gang with Superman and Supergirl, because they're
Yeah.
technically not part of it. Okay. Everything else is canon.
Right. Well, like the general audience, they have no idea. They probably would be a little confused, but then I think some of them would just run with it because they don't care that much, if they like the first season. But for all of the fans and us, everybody who's plugged in, and especially comic book fans, like when it comes down to that, especially us fans and comic book fans, it's why are you complaining so much? Because you know that in the multiverse of the DC universe, that people on different Earths look the same and people on different Earths look different. So
And this is
we literally just get to see, which I thought it was kind of cool the way they just did it, and then they focused in on Isabella Merced and Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, I mean, and they did the dialogue differently. In that little recap, if you watch it, James Gunn said there was a wait a minute, I'm an idiot. I did listen to the first episode of the podcast, the rewatch with of Peacemaker season 2, episode 1. I did. I'm stupid. Frank Grillo's on it. He seems like a cool guy.
Oh yeah.
And I have more respect for John Cena because John Cena has never done any drugs his entire life. Any drugs. And what do you call it? So they said there was
discussing his party scene and
yeah, they do. But there was a I can't even talk this morning. There was a deleted scene where Peacemaker made one of his usual off flavor quotes about Green Lantern, and they wouldn't let James Gunn use it. That scene in the first season. but they threw it in the second seat in that recap. So in that recap, when he says something about Green Lantern to Adebayo, that wasn't in the first season. And
I'm gonna have to rewatch and try and catch the quote.
And then it's where he says something about being puke. And then that's why a guy says, he thinks I like puke.
Oh, yeah. It was the previously. Yeah, he calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the line where Adebayo is talking to Waller, and she says, in the original, she's like, you should call him the Justice League or something. Now she says, you should call him the Justice Gang or something. Other than that, like that's something that's different. Gunn has, said things about that might not be in canon. But other than that, I listened to that whole podcast and I was like really like listening for stuff. And yeah, it's all there. So
it sounds like comic books, like a little overly convoluted, and it's kind of like turning one universe into another, and we're like just the beginning might be a little bit messy here. We might be able to find our way through, or I don't know. That is kind of but that's why I think people do their podcast episodes of let's do what the DC universe timeline is going to be. You know what I mean? Why fans try and figure it out and put it together so it makes sense.
And that's what we're doing here. That just like before you and I had done my whole like crisis theory and how that worked.
Yeah. Zack Snyder's Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah.
And so now the DCU timeline, I'm just going to take this. The DCU is just a Earth that was created after Crisis. And the timeline is the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker Season 1, Creature Commandos, Superman, Peacemaker Season 2, Supergirl.
Right. Well, so where we get our entry points in at this point. So we get our entry points into this DC universe from the start with Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, and Superman. And then the new supporting cast all around them. That's our entry point here. I mean, this is just like our Brandon Routh isn't Christopher Reeve Superman.
Right.
There's a lot of things that are very similar.
Which is an article that will be on the Daily Planet shortly, because after our recent interview with editor Zach Benz, I sat last night and wrote the article.
Oh, did you? Awesome.
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. Yeah, where our entry points, what we are seeing, Peacemaker. So what we've seen for Peacemaker is pretty much the same in the DC universe as it is in the DCU, with some minor differences. And then our entry point here with Superman is a different Superman. We have a different Superman. So this universe just has a different Superman. It's not the same world, just our entry points are somewhat the same. It's the same argument we have. It's the same thing. It's the same discussion that Chris Reeve and Brandon Routh are different Superman. That they have divergent points and they ultimately lead someplace differently.
Yeah. I kind of wish, like at the end,
very, very similar to one another. On a similar path.
I really think they didn't need Supergirl to show up, within that.
But that's your next movie coming out,
right?
You're gonna have her even if she's just floating there, you're gonna have her to keep her in somebody in the public eye.
And in my head canon,
it's coming.
In my head canon, this is the moment when Supergirl visited and dropped off Crypto to Clark. Was in this time, since we learned that Peacemaker Season 2 is 6 months later than Season 1. My headcanon is that when she visited at this time, when she was there, is when before she left is when Clark got Crypto.
Nice.
So that's my headcanon.
Yeah, it would kind of make sense why they both arrived at the same time with the Justice Gang, even though they are not part of the Justice Gang.
And we know that Clark
They are
helps out.
friends. Yeah.
Yep. Clark helps out. He's a man of the cloth.
Yes.
Me and the kids watched it again yesterday. So we know that Frank Grillo. Okay.
I I had a thing. I shared that those comments on a post
Yeah.
in the chat, and they posted again because I said well, once he starts going toe to toe with Engineer and Ultraman, he doesn't save anyone. It's all fight. He doesn't save a single person. Blah blah blah. No, after the fight, he goes and he catches the building. I'm like, no, that's literally right before. You're wrong.
Mhm.
You're arguing with the wrong person.
Yeah. I saw a post earlier that I really liked.
That was funny.
It said Lex Luthor does not know how lucky he is that if he would have stole the dog when Supergirl was around, he would have been really screwed.
Yeah, she might have heat vision through his head like Ultraman tried to do to Superman.
So after the events of Peacemaker season 1, where Amanda Waller gets outed,
Should have John Wicked him.
Rick Flag Sr. takes over Argus.
Mm-hmm.
So he is the head of Argus now. And by doing that, he's learned a lot of things that have happened that were kept from him. Okay. I'll probably go back.
Probably the death of his son.
No, he knows
the cause of. No, I mean, once he became the head of Argus, like he might know the cause of his son's death at that point, because that was on a top secret mission. All he might be known given his killed in action kind of a thing.
He knows that Peacemaker killed his son.
At this point, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they mentioned the Luthor incident, and we have I can't remember his character. I wish he was just Gordon Godfrey, honestly. Thomas Ian Black as the news anchor guy.
The guy on the sphere. Yeah, he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a Tucker Carlson analog.
Yeah, like
he kind of sounds like an ass.
Metahuman breakouts continue. So latest black eye for Argus public crisis. Metahumans force urgent response and reflection. It was the headline in one of his little things at the bottom.
Yeah. Didn't they say it was a breakout at what? Arkham and Bel Rev?
Yes. So we have Arkham dropped.
They did not mention Blackgate. They said Arkham and Bel Rev.
Yep. Both of those were mentioned. And just
I love that that's just part of the DC universe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Super villain breakouts. Like
in my mind right now, okay, Bloodsport shot David Cornsweat Superman with a kryptonite bullet.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too.
Yep, that's in my head canon right now. So not to get too super sciencey, okay, but because they talk about the energy signature during the Luthor event, they've been monitoring for things like that since what he did, and then that's when they actually pick up when Peacemaker opens the dimension. Now, the dimensional thing that Peacemaker has, the pocket where his dad was working on his helmets, is like a nexus access point to a quantum storage, but it also is being intersected by the multiverse. Inside that quantum storage unit. And my question to you, James, is it because of how it works? Is every one of the other doors in there, you think, basically Augie and Peacemakers from the multiverse?
That's kind of what I was considering.
So, like that alien, the alien that comes out that that burns the rat. That's kind of like Peacemaker, Christopher Smith on that Earth, on that planet or whatever, like that universe.
That universe where Earth is more alien than humanoid.
Right. So that's what. Okay, so we're on the same page thinking that, because he walks into the one door and it's I guess we're gonna call it Earth 2 at the moment, or something, because they refer to him as Peacemaker 2. So it's not the same as the pocket dimension that Luther created, but it is using dimensional energy. So it is similar,
Yeah.
but it's not the same because the tech, and this is what gets me, is like the tech is different. Like Luther's was so like rogue science, the portals, but these portals are like clean and neat. And I think it'll be revealed somewhere that Augie didn't create it himself. That access point, I think somebody had to have helped him.
Yeah, that's
It makes
possible. It makes sense. I mean, yeah, that was definitely a consideration, that a lot of those doors or most of those doors or all of them are different worlds, different universes of Peacemaker, using the same like quantum storage facility. But yeah, that I wasn't sure. Like, I mean, just because we see that on the one side, but it was really fun to see him just stumble across a new set of helmets.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, he was like, wait, it's just he hasn't really explored around there, which I don't blame him because I don't know if I would really want to just walk around there.
Yeah,
but
I think you could get lost.
One thing like I want to point out is you have to think of this like, yeah, this is season 2, but it really is more of a mini series, almost TV movie. Like 3-year gap between seasons, but you got to think of like this is like Peacemaker, the second movie.
Yeah,
and movies come out about 2 to 3 years apart.
See, I'm okay with I'm okay with the way that they do series now. I think, I mean, I grew up in the age of 22, 24 episode seasons.
You grew up, just you.
I grew up, just me,
Just
me,
you.
me alone.
Yes.
Me alone.
Not me too.
We all grew up. Anybody who was born with in the 20th century, all of y'all born in the 21st century might not get it, but I mean, if you're a CW fan, I guess. But anyways, all of those, yeah. But that there's a lot of filler in the type of storytelling. So getting right to the point, utilizing as many characters as you want or as are needed for the story to be told. You get to have a lot of cameos from the DC universe, or just as the world exists, these people, interact with one another. And the mini series approach, the shorter episodes, just the focused storytelling, especially for these types of characters for this IP is kind of essential. It's really the best way to really get people interested and bring them back if you're going to do it again. But the way it seems like a movie, you know what I mean? It's if you're going to tell this IP is kind of a constant storytelling. There is no kind of real end. It's it's just arcs. So when we go through all of these stories one to another, I mean, it's all episodic, so it all kind of has to flow from one to the next, no matter how interconnected or not,
Oh yeah. You're right. And there's some shows I wish they would like speed up, but like with this, it's such a high production. Like I said, it's like a film, and it's just interesting. So I'm trying to hit like how it all connects.
I mean, Ironheart was very much the same way over there. Was just 6 episodes over on Disney Plus, just last month or June, whenever it came out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet because Solomon wants to watch it. We were so busy and we just haven't got back around to it.
I was gonna say it came out when you guys were doing the play and everything, so you guys didn't have any time.
Yep. So let's jump to at the beginning of this episode. We see that we get all of our characters in different places, and like I said, it's been 6 months, and Chris is at a low. because he's trying to go from anti-hero villain to hero. That's what he really wants to be. So he's going to go audition or interview and everything to join the Justice Gang. And I love how it's like billionaire Maxwell Lord, but everything's like low key and cheap. You know,
I know, right? Super cheap.
We see the White
I don't
Rabbit.
think a Spirit Halloween would be in that space.
Everyone's making a big deal that the White Rabbit comes running out, having being interviewed by them, and I'm like, okay, first of all, the Justice Gang is interviewing ex-villains because the White Rabbit. I'm not familiar with the White Rabbit that much, other than it's a Batman villain. So everyone's like, it's the first Batman villain in the DCU. I mean, technically, it's not, but I don't, but whatever. That'd be Clayface. But it gives you like, why are they interviewing her? Like, because technically, Peacemaker was more of a anti-hero villain, until recently, but no one really knows what he did as he's trying to transition to being a hero. And we get some great lines of, he's being interviewed and we learn that the microphone's not working correctly, where it shuts off them talking behind the glass. And we have Maxwell Lord, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl.
No.
And Guy has a history with Chris and doesn't really, and Chris is sitting there trying to like, I've accepted my trauma. I've been dealing with this. Like I've been trying to better myself. And he makes the, like they're making some harsh comments about him. And
they're having some weird conversations amongst themselves as well.
And he's like pouring his soul out, how he feels. And they basically are like, this guy sucks, blah, 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 blah. Why is he even like,
after Maxwell Lord says, this guy sucks. He's like, excuse me, but like weird question.
Am I supposed to hear you?
Yeah. And then he says the whole thing about everything they said, you guys were talking about your butts and you said I suck.
Yeah. And they mention the camel toe.
He said, how many times did I say camel toe? I must have said it about 30 times. He said 30 times. I was like, how could you even say it 30 times?
You must be just focusing on it. And then, Chris leaves and he goes out there and jumps in the car with Adebayo, and they are exploring more Peacemaker's bisexuality a little bit, because he's like, they said I'm good at sucking dick. That's a compliment. Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah. That was hysterical.
And so in the beginning of the episode, of course, like the whole setup is there's two universes, right? And Peacemaker basically, he's at the lowest low where we see he is trying to escape reality, like all the kind of like escapism things you can think of. And first he starts with drugs and like he hits the bong, and John Cena like had no idea how a bong works, and he was like, and it's so funny to listen to that podcast and where they're talking about it, and then he's doing like cocaine, like snorting and everything, and I'm like,
he pulls out a big old bag and says for a rainy day,
and so he's like hitting it hardcore, and he's very isolated himself.
I was like, even for movie and TV, I was like, dude, you are hitting some huge lines, right?
Yeah. And then like the biggest like escapism is he has a massive orgy at his house.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is like, that scene is hilarious, but like my jaw dropped, just kind of like, I knew there'd be something, but like I wasn't expecting that. And the fact that he's like fully clothed the entire time, just walking around, like not even paying attention to what's going on, and he's living in his dad's house. We should mention that
he's fully clothed. There's at least 25 people, 30 people in the house, and damn near every single one of them is stark naked. And and he's fully clothed, but they're all just doing drugs, having sex, dancing, partying, listening to music.
My favorite was the complete naked dude just sitting on the counter eating a sandwich. I don't know what that was my favorite because he's just so chill. Just, but okay, this is my issue. Okay, this is my issue, and I'm not prudish, but my issue is you come off the back of Superman, this really hopeful inspiration, and you're promoting Peacemaker so hard as the next chapter of the DCU after Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like Peacemaker is like the antithesis of it, but you're promoting it so hard. Like after Superman, the next part is Peacemaker, and then you bring people and they see that in the first episode. I don't know if that's good or bad for the brand. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of because maybe somebody doesn't really know what to expect. Because when the episode starts, if you go back and look, it says rated TVMA smoking. It doesn't say language, violence, nudity. It says smoking.
That's funny.
And I was like, okay. I'm just kind of like, all right, smoking. And then
I'm surprised sex, because smoking these days, sure, that is a thing that they put on there. Violence, Americans don't give a shit about that anymore, apparently. Who cares what's on TV when it comes to violence there?
But I'm saying it's only smoking. There's nothing else listed.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. But sex, absolutely. Prude asses around this place. You know what I mean? I mean, not that you have to be involved in orgies and swinging and all that stuff, but
it was
Christ,
just like. But my thing is, you're
them not
people
putting it on there. Like I'd be surprised that somebody didn't freaking go up in arms and go like, "Oh my God, you got to put that in the ratings." You know what I mean? Like, let them know ahead of time.
I just think that it's kind of weird that you're telling people to come see this after Superman, and it's like the complete opposite of Superman. It's the antithesis. It's like the dark. I don't want to say the darker side. And like James Gunn says, how much more fun he has with Peacemaker. Well, yeah, because you're dealing with C-level characters that people only care about because of what you've done to them, and you can pretty much do whatever you want with them. And no one's going to argue that's not true Peacemaker canon. Nobody cares.
Right. Where's that Charleston fan who is like, he did this?
If there's a Charleston fan out there, they would be like in their 90s.
I know,
because they bought Charleston comics. Is it Charleston or Charlton? I can't remember if it's got the S or not. They bought them back in the 40s. I need that person to come up and argue with it.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to that person. That would be a fun conversation. You used to read Peacemaker. What do you think of him now?
What, Sonny? Are you there?
Yeah, he'd be like, "Hello, can you hear?"
But so, and then of course he goes into the other. Lauren, we get references to Ultra Humanite, which was neat. And when we see Peacemaker,
the Easter eggs.
When we see Peacemaker 2 come out, and he goes after Peacemaker 1, he has the jetpack, which I thought was awesome, which is very like original comic Peacemaker, with the jetpack and everything.
Is that what that is?
It made me think, but then like in the first season, I'm sure Chris talked about a jetpack before and having a little fan to help guide him where to go. He used it before, but he wanted a helmet that could make him fly.
Ah, right.
So it's just interesting stuff like that. Hold on, pause.
Let's effing go.
Let's go. So Peacemaker, basically, so for all those behind the scenes stuff, my mom just randomly showed up, so we had to stop, and now we're picking back up where we were.
Yeah, we had technical difficulties.
and then
about 30 minutes later, mom shows up.
So what did you think of the new opening and dance scene?
The opening and dance scene. Can you hear that? Okay, it's coming. Hold on.
Yep, it's coming. This is just a podcast that's not meant to ever happen.
I guess not.
Thanks, kids.
Okay, no, that's just the 2-3-year-olds arguing. All right. Okay. The opening scene, the new dance number. It was definitely even a little bit more of a production, like the way that Harcourt walks off this way and then she comes out this way as the other Earth's version and stuff. The way John Cena Peacemaker walks off and Chris comes on with in regular clothes. Yeah, it was really cool. It's really fun. I mean, since it was I don't think it's as good as the first one.
It's not. And I don't like the
difference in the song. Yeah, it's the difference in the song. The energy's kind of the same. It seems like it's a bit longer of a number, but maybe not. I don't know.
It is a few seconds. It is a little bit long because I showed the kids and Jania the new one, and then we watched the original, and it's just a little bit longer, like maybe 10 seconds longer, or if that. If that, okay.
Okay.
I don't like the song. Like it just seems like it's a lot. Like I don't even know what the song is like saying or doing. It just seems.
I could not understand the lyrics from it, not entirely.
Same,
but they do play on my Roku. They do play the lyrics while the caption is on.
See, I know it's a band that James Gunn's like really friends with and likes, Foxy Shazam, but I just didn't dig it. I feel like the first one.
Check it out on Spotify and just
song. I had listened to just the song before when they said what the song would be, and I was like, huh. The first one has such a great like 80s metal, but it's not from the 80s, and it's catchy, it's upbeat, and it feels like something like Chris would do. This one doesn't feel like that, and the dance feels so melancholy. Like everyone's expressions and like just the energy, and it almost doesn't feel like it always lines up with the song. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it just seems so. I don't know. I
only saw it once before the show came out when I saw it on my feed, and then I saw it again watching the episode last night. So I've only seen it twice, and I want to check it out a couple more times.
And I feel like it's going to be the one that, like, the first season, I'm not skipping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not skipping this. This one, I think I'm like, I'm done. I'm good. Like, I don't.
I will watch it every time it comes for this first watch through for sure. But maybe on a subsequent rewatch, I might like later on down the line, I'll watch it once, and then when I'm binging it and I'm going from episode to episode, I'm going to skip it. Unlike the first season, I will watch that every time pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but this one, like on subsequent rewatches, if it's a long time in between and I don't get to a season 2 rewatch for a year, I'm going to watch it again and then I'll skip it after that. But
yeah, I don't know. All right. Last question. We'll wrap up this. What do you want to see out of this season of Peacemaker? What are some things you want to see happen?
Man. So, well, let me see. So I watched, when I finished it, I just let it play. So everything that played afterwards came on, the sneak peek for the rest of the season, the other world, the different characters, like all that stuff. Some of the stuff they get into. It didn't quite seem like we have a hint as to what the threat's going to be, kind of like the gods and monsters threat that they were talking about for the chapter 1 of the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna get that sometime. If the portals and different dimensions and parallel Earths are kind of the theme, if that's going to be going forward, I mean, maybe it's a Forever Evil and a crime syndicate down the line, as a speculation. So that's just, I don't know. That's just thinking about the future when he said, like, we'll see kind of where it's going with Peacemaker season 2. Well, I'm interested to see him on the other Earth, because a scene we didn't really even get into is the scene where he is drunk and on drugs and he walks away from the party and he goes back into the quantum the nexus space, and he goes over to the other Earth. And there's a whole thing there where the Argus detects the space. They haven't detected it since January, since he let Eagly in there to fly around when he first discovered this Earth.
Yep.
But then he has a moment. Keith is not dead on this Earth. Nope. So his brother is grown up. He's never known him, and it's Pam's ex.
It's Roy, man. It's also the dad from Brightburn.
The dad from Brightburn, yeah. Yep.
I love him as an actor. I can never remember his name.
I don't know his name, but those are the things I know him from.
But he's also he was Jason's dad in the Power Ranger reboot. So
Keith is there. He's alive. Their dad is alive, Augie, and he is a loving father. He loves his boys. They have a whole good time drinking and telling stories, and Chris is kind of just silent, loving it, emotional. The way that, and what James Gunn said afterwards, the way that Robert Patrick walked by John Cena and grabbed his earlobe, walking by and saying, "Love you, buddy," and walking off, that was all Robert Patrick. That was something he brought to it. That wasn't scripted. And that's why you got to love people, because they're going to bring those character bits,
Exactly.
And then
it's just something that you as a father would like.
Yeah.
Loving on your kid. Like,
oh yeah. I always doing something, my kids are 15, 16, about to be 16, 17. They don't love you like they used to. Your kids running at you. You still experience that with them. No, they come for you, but yeah, it's definitely something, touch them on the shoulder or whatever. After you've been drinking, you walk by your elder son there, and you friggin' touch his ear or whatever. So just a lovely moment, and then Keith is leaving, and he tells him he loves him, and they all walk off, and he just breaks down crying. It's an amazing scene from John Cena.
Oh, it totally is.
And then that leads into the scene where Peacemaker fights Peacemaker.
And he kills the other Peacemaker on accident.
Yeah, and that was tragic too. He did. It was he hit that jet. He hit the jet on his or the jet pack. Sorry, he hit the jet pack and just sent him off of him because he was on top of him, repeatedly punching him in the head. And he hit that jetpack button, and he just shot straight up into one of those spikes off the ceiling. Yeah, it was shocking. Like both of our jaws dropped. Like, oh my God. And then the way he died, we were just sitting there watching it. It was crazy. It was surreal.
And just the fact where he's like, it's just kind of funny because he's like, oh shit, what did I do? And then he's like, he's trying to figure out what to do with the body.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
he
heck,
just reacted.
he reacted. He was getting beat down. Like he had flown across the thing, slammed him into some pillars of, storage, like the big storage lockers and pillars and all that the place is filled with. And then he's got him down on the ground, just like he had to have hit him in the face like 4 or 5 times before he hit that button. Man, it was just a desperate move, and something bad happened.
What I
And
want
that goes with what he said earlier too, though, to Adebayo in the car. Because Adebayo doesn't think anything's going to happen to her because she's, getting into shape, and she's doing all this. She's doing all the espionage, the private eye stuff, and she says nobody's going to kill her and take her down. And he's like, people like us just die,
Yeah.
He says, unless you're cool like me and you die old, that's just stats. Which is crap. That's not a stat. At least not for him and guys like him. More often than not, they die younger.
Yep. My things I want to see. I want to see more connections in the DC universe. I want to see a mention or a live action version of one of the Creature Commandos.
Ooh,
like
nice. Yeah,
the Bride. I'd like to see the Bride show up.
That would be sick. I mean, she was your favorite character, but if they showed anybody, we've already seen Weasel in live action, so we don't want to see him.
I don't want to see GI Robot.
I would love to see GI Robot.
I want to see the Bride show up because she was my favorite, and she's still there at the end. And since Rick Flag is now the head of Argus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would like to see when they're bouncing around, if they go into any other doors, I would like to see Peace Wrecker. I think that'd be kind of funny and kind of cool. Just like a female version of Christopher Smith kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that would be sick.
But yeah, that's I really don't know what to expect, but I would like to see just more connective tissue from the DC moving forward. Like maybe, if anybody, I don't know.
Like well, so the thing is, so we've got these two primary bits right now of the DCU. We've got Superman and we've got Peacemaker season 2, and the connective tissue is different with the series. With this show, there's more screen time, so we're going to get to see a lot more bits. We're going to have more character moments and exposition, so we're going to be able to get more of those widespread ties, I think. And then with movies like Superman, you get to see different characters and different bits and different corners of the DC universe, but they are very much like Easter eggs, kind of. But that means that's just something else opened up that can be told at a different time because it existed. Say the Justice Society, those things on there. The existence of the Green Lantern Corps. You introduced Hawkgirl. Are you going to introduce Thanagar? And they talk about intergalactic zoos and going to different planets with red suns. There's a lot there that really just got opened up in a movie just through that dialogue, and the things that we've seen and the characters involved. So it's just the different ways that they're being opened up and connected. I think it's actually pretty cool to have them the way they are right now.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning here. It's exciting.
All right. Well, that's our previously on the DCU. Just kind of a catch up with the universe and what we know. The last thing that I did want to mention, because this episode's been crazy, is Frank Grillo. There was quoted as, I'm pulling this up right now, Rick Flag Sr. will officially have a key role in the secret upcoming DCU project, says Frank Grillo. James Gunn leaned in, you know what we got coming next, right? And I'm like, no. He goes, we got something big, and you're all over it. I don't know what it is, but he shows more. So something with Rick Flag
Well, I mean, we know he's going to be in the rest of the season, but yeah, as the DCU.
Like I
Wonder
said, with
what
him being the head
Rick
of
Flag's
Argus.
going to be at the center of.
Well, with him being the head of Argus, it's interesting what could be. So we'll find out.
Yeah,
And remember,
that's exciting.
James is excited.
I am.
Opposite beard. Hold on. Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Talk. Just go ahead and talk, Sayla. Just ask questions and talk. I like the rawness. Talk, Sayla.
Was the girl the girl from the Minecraft movie Dawn, was she in that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. We watched a regular one and compared them. I want to see that.
So, when I pull up the first one, what did you guys think of it?
It wasn't that bad. It was better than I thought. But it still was lacking. Like, it's not a rock song.
I mean, it is kind of a rock song, but like, you thoughts
That's the first one.
as you eat pizza? Solomon, thoughts? More?
I'm good.
I didn't like the song choice. Just straight up. The song wasn't really catchy.
Not really.
The first song that they do, the first season or sequence or whatever, that song was catchy, funny, like all on its own. And then the dance just kind of took it to like the next level. This song was just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
You know,
It took longer.
the dance was cool, you know, like they did a good job with the dancing and stuff, but like that was just not the song.
There's no energy to it. It feels so melancholy low.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's part of like it's supposed to be, but like I'm just
punk rocker.
like I just wish there was more. So this is a caveat to our discussion on the DCU. I today was reading some things and James Gunn stated that Blue Beetle fits into his DCU nicely. So for now we can kind of consider Blue Beetle part of the DCU.
Look up in the sky, the birds, the